Morning, Heather. How are you?
I'm okay.
Good.
It's been a rough 2 weeks.
Okay, you want to get started?
I'll show you what I have so far. I'm sure I'm really far behind everyone. I want to see it.
Okay.
I converted myself over to Reddit to start placing walls and doors. And
Gotcha.
I'm not that proficient in SketchUp yet.
Uh-huh.
So I've been working on the little community center. Just space planning.
So this is a two-story facility?
It's a 2-story with a basement.
So we're going to need another stairway, Heather.
Yeah, I know. I've been trying to figure out where I can put it.
So, I mean, I like the corner location, but can you fire up the layer for the second floor? The knuckle where you've got it is generally a good place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, at the tips of each leg, if you will, right there, and the west tip are the ideal places. But you've got that auditorium condition there,
Mm-hmm.
so that may not make sense. It might need to go. So if you can put your cursor on the doors going out from the pre-function area, right? So no, the other pre-function area. Yep. So you see the wall that goes into the theater,
Mm-hmm.
right? That may be the starting point for the stairway up above. So the idea would be to slide it directly north.
And slide this up?
Yeah, right there. And if there's a way, if you can pan over to the west leg, if there's a way you can have a corridor between those two classrooms,
Mm-hmm.
that would be another place for that stairway outside of the building.
Okay.
But I don't know if you were thinking that those huddle rooms were going to be like if they could be like a movable partition.
Yeah.
So that may mean that you need to have a corridor along the outside wall where it says classroom, have
Mm-hmm.
a corridor either there or slide your cursor please south. Put a corridor there.
Oh, okay.
Right
on here.
Exactly. Well, let it slide south from the doorway.
Right here.
Along that leg, and then run it west so that the corridor is along the street front. Right, and then drop the stairway in where your cursor is now.
Oh, okay.
Then the partition between the classrooms can be operable, and you still preserve the integrity of the exiting strategy.
Okay.
Let's go upstairs so I can see how badly my idea goes.
Upstairs, I have it up here. This is like here.
So the upstairs is just that leg?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's more problematic, right?
I mean, I can extend it, make it bigger, but right now.
So what's happening upstairs?
Upstairs, I was thinking more of like
Oh, I just lost your video or audio, I think.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, I was thinking of like the upstairs being a more quiet area.
Can
more.
you, but more broadly, can you describe the occupancy that was going to happen up there? Is it all part of this educational?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And essentially, I was working on um, making. I don't have that. Making it, less of a block and more functional to where it can collect rainwater for its building purposes.
So really, if we can go back to the plan, the second floor must generate the exiting strategy. I think the first exit stair location is a good one, moving that up. And then I guess the other stair needs to go probably running east and west, and it needs to fit into that indent along the street.
Okay.
So let me zoom in on your stairway for just a second. Between the handrails, how much distance do you have, Heather? Between the handrails. No, in the exiting element. You have handrails on each side of the treads. What's that distance?
That's 4 feet.
Okay, that's correct then. Yeah, so that stairway needs to be about 9 or 10 feet wide as a design block.
Okay.
Right, and that's what you've got. You've got 8 feet. You've got 6 inches. You got some walls. So you may have to slide this whole complex north a little bit in order to get the whole building north a little bit to get that new stairway in.
Yeah.
Within the indent. You've got some room though. So, could you please thaw the labels on this level?
Thaw?
Well, so I can see them, the words, the room words.
Oh no, these aren't. I haven't gotten to the.
So this is still upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go down to the.
So a lot of what's upstairs is just what you see from below. I got you.
This is the ground floor.
Yeah. Okay.
Essentially, just spaces that can be utilized. A multitude of different ways. Like the classrooms could be utilized as conference rooms, or like I was thinking of more of like mobile units to be able to shift and transform.
Right.
So then, if like some kid, doesn't have the means of, say that they want to have like a little party of some kind, like
sure,
they can have a party.
So I'm.
I know I'm probably really far behind. It's just been a rough 2 weeks for me.
No, I'm just trying to. I'm. What I'm thinking about right now is the ground plane, like where your cursor is, and the ground plane west of the classrooms, and even the ground plane outside of the huddle and the gallery and the theater. And I'm trying to sort of think of the experience that a pedestrian might have or a vehicle might have driving around the complex, and what would they see as they looked in?
Yeah, this would be like a little courtyard area.
Yeah.
With seating and trees and gardens, and it would extend up through into here. This is where the train depot is.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, does the floor plan, build on that relationship? Does it leverage that relationship? For example, just sort of thinking about the theater. What if the theater was rotated clockwise to the right, like 90 degrees? What if the stage was on the street and the seating was at the west wall, and then you entered the theater in a pre-function area that linked to the outside courtyard, for example, right? So that you could like mill about outside in an outdoor sort of quasi theater space. Yes, there, and then go through a glass wall that would lead to the pre-function, a small pre-function area for the auditorium, and then go into the auditorium for one thing. I guess maybe another is, what if, I mean, I know the stairway starts to confound that a little bit, but in terms of what we just thought that where the stairway would go, but that kind of thing, Heather, like the classrooms, for example, on the left. What if those classrooms had an opportunity to have like outdoor rooms the same size as the classroom, or half the size, so that the landscape is activated by the geometry of the building?
Okay.
Same thing with the art gallery. Can the art gallery? Yeah, and I think, you know, in that case it can. But so I guess what I'm trying to sort of coax you to do is to think about the floor plan, if you will, of the ground plane with as much sort of intensity as you're doing with the floor plan of the building itself. Always thinking about that, the transactional sort of potential of the outdoor spaces. Can we go upstairs for a second again?
Yeah. So the upstairs is here.
So the auditorium is probably a 2-story space? Or 1.5 story, like a volume?
About a 1.5.
Yeah, but you're not going to walk in that thing, are you? I mean,
no.
is there a projection space, or?
Yeah.
So there, okay, and then the big room at above the art gallery. Yeah, what's your thought for that program?
I'm thinking that would be like the little art studio. It would be above the art gallery.
Right.
So it's like a little confined area of art.
Right. So.
And since, you know, if I move those stairs up and I move the stairs here, the stairs would connect the art gallery to the art studio.
Exactly. What I'm thinking is, if you could draw a rectangle, Heather, from the northwest corner of that room and pull it. I want to show you something. I'm going to create a balcony for this room.
Where? This one?
So pull it from the northwest corner. Or start the yeah. Pull it southeast. Keep going down to line it up with the 2 outside. Yep, like there. That's not a rectangle.
No. Okay.
What I'm saying is, what if you extend the 2 outside walls, the north-south wall and the east-west wall of the indent? Let that be the geometry of the room that you're talking about, and create an L-shaped terrace for the display of art.
So like.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. You see what I just did?
Yeah.
To create an outdoor area, so that even though you have a 2-story building there, most of that facade is parapet, and then the vertical 2-story wall is actually set back from the street to give it that residential scale, but also an outdoor terrace to sort of display art and have, you know, studio gatherings and.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thinking about, again, the outdoor. I mean, that comment that I made earlier about thinking about the ground plane as an active, like, floor plan condition is the same thing for 2nd floor rooms.
Okay. Yeah.
Now that's going to enhance, or that'll disturb or activate what you've thought of 3-dimensionally for this, but I think it's worth looking at.
Yeah. It can still work 3-dimensionally.
Right.
Okay. Cut here.
What else do you have?
What else do I have?
To go over with me.
I've been looking at floor plans, like just going through to see what.
Oh, good.
What exists, like duplex.
Wow.
Duplex wise, just looking at what other places do.
Have you, okay, have you any idea how big some of these are? Or is there anything in here that you're kind of attracted to that seem like it's right for your exercise, for your studio?
Yeah, like there was
this is really interesting to see these, Heather.
Yeah. I like going through these type of floor plans so then I can see like what's available. This one slightly because it's a two bedroom, it's a 2-story. You're able to stack them side by side without getting.
Quite honestly, the second floor I wouldn't disturb much, but like the first floor, I'd open all those walls. I'd get rid of all those interior walls.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely rearrange the first floor, but like the whole having it compact.
Yeah, I think there's some beauty to that. So is that maybe kind of a module that you would apply an array?
Yeah.
Okay.
A module for like a two
for the two-bedroom.
For the 2-bedroom type.
And what about, do you have like a 1-bedroom or a studio?
I've been looking at them. I just don't have it.
Okay.
Here, but I've been looking at floor plans to get ideas. It's just a matter of taking them and putting them into Revit to be able to copy them into an array.
All right, good. And then, so what else do you want to go over?
Just, I'm not sure.
Okay. So I guess what I'd say is, next week we do not have studio, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do a lot of catch-up work.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's necessarily a matter of catch up, but I think it's just a matter of, let's look at that.
This one this one's smaller. This one, I'm not sure. Where did it go?
And you might have to scroll down. Don't you hate that when you click on the source and then you get a...
Yeah, but I think it's related to this one.
That one,
there's the kitchen, and this is a 1-bedroom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's where there's living, kitchen, bedroom, utility, and bathroom. Right.
But I would start to think of the planning as it relates to floor plans for the entire complex. You've already, gotten into the planning of the floor plans for the corner building, and that's good. I think with some tweaks today, you can get that kind of coalesced. But I think go through the exercise of introducing floor plans into the dwelling units is next. And then I'd like to see you, move into a 3-dimensional sort of conversation in terms of what things look like, building mass, solid, void, and give a sense of where this is going to go. I don't have my calendar with me, but since we don't have
weeks.
Yeah, so how many studios do we have after we get back? Just 1 week of class? So the 6th is Monday, the 13th is the week we get back, so we have 2
and
classes.
Then the 20th
the 20th is the review. So
we only have 1 meeting.
Yeah, and I think that what we're going to do is, and I think I said this at the night of the Monday class, I think we'll have a basic discussion, the lecture, and then, thanks for pulling the calendar up. And then I will be available Monday night to anyone that wants to talk to me, and given given where you are, maybe let's make a point of visiting on Monday the 20th. Certainly anytime next week too, if you want.
Do you know when the we have the benchmark? I
That's
thought it was
that's the 20th.
The 20th is the benchmark?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not having class the 6th and the 8th. I am going to have class on the 13th, but the class on the 13th is only going to be lecture and whoever wants to see me that night.
Okay.
And I was not going to have class on the 15th because you're sort of in a crunch mode, right? For Monday the 20th, the review night. But I could see anybody that's, you know, kind of wanting to maybe have a page turn with me or get some feedback about floor plan, site plan, massing, whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
I just sort of figure you wouldn't want to see me. You guys wouldn't want to see me on the 15th, but I'm certainly available. It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Okay.
All right. But for the 20th, I'd like to see, you know, a fairly complete architectural sort of snapshot, right, of how this development works with the site, how this development works within the community of buildings and uses that you're proposing, Heather, and to see some sense of, you know, commitment to windows and doors and balconies and materials. I think that's something else that a lot of people are starting to think about right now, and I'm encouraging you to. And then the research that's, you know, kind of leading up to all of this. So that's kind of the point, because what happens on the 20th is that review is really going to be the last chance for gas, right? From a critic's perspective, because we have our final review the following month, probably like the 29th.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about on Monday the 20th of March as like final, you know, Revit, SketchUp, Lumion, you know, V-Ray, whatever renderings. We're talking about kind of putting all of the pieces together and showing enough of those pieces and enough about those pieces so that critics can understand the architectural proposal. Okay? That's what I got. Thanks for meeting with me today.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to be I'm going to be available next week. So just if you need to get my input on anything, Heather, on the week of spring break. Nobody wanted to go on a field trip, so that's at least to the best of my ability. I can't see any emails about it. So I'm going to be around the week of the 6th and the 8th. If you want to have a session, just let me know. And then I'll see you on the 13th, okay?
All right.
All right. Thanks, Heather.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.